Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Oh, it has been a minute, hasn't it? I need to explain that. I don't have a lot of followers. I think when I stopped making videos, it was 75, but those 75 people mean a lot to me. Oh, geez, I'm out of practice. I should say who I am for maybe people who have never seen this. I'm Molly. And this is my YouTube channel purpose. And we are going through the Bible, reading the stories, and just making them relatable to our lives, making the Bible not so difficult. It's not, or it shouldn't be so difficult that people don't read it and don't understand it. I mean, nobody's going to get everything, but it'll help everyone if they read it. Boy, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, I haven't made videos in a long time. I'm a little rusty, out of practice. And there's a good reason for that. Um, November 24th, no, November 5th of 2024, which seems like such a long time ago. We're in 2026 now. But November 5th, 2024, our son, 35 years old, was diagnosed with stage 4 esophageal cancer. And that diagnosis turned our world upside down. And if you've ever had that happen, where the rug's just pulled out of you, it's hard to even breathe, much less make YouTube videos. But I care about all of the people who took the time to watch my videos, and I felt bad that I wasn't making them. But I just, I was in survival mode. And he fought very hard for 3 months. We lost him on February 11th. And I tell you, that kid didn't complain. He got frustrated sometimes, but not very much. Never heard a complaint out of his mouth. They moved in with us, my son and his wife and 3 kids. They were 5, 6, and 8 at that time. And they moved in with us so I could help take care of everybody, because that'd be awful hard for one person to take care of a husband who's so ill and 3 little kids who just need a lot, they're little. And so they moved in here and we all helped each other. And it was a long 3 months. It seemed like 10 years. But in other ways, it seems like it just flew by. It wasn't enough time. And I don't know if you've ever lost anyone or not, but after he died, it wasn't like I just bounced back and said, okay, time to get going with life again. The reason it's taken me so long to make these videos is because for probably, I don't know, well, a couple of months for sure, I was still in that panic mode where your adrenaline's pumping and that's all you can think about is that he's gone. And it was just pure survival, just getting up and getting through the day. His wife and kids stayed living with us until April. He died in February. They stayed here till the end of April. So I had a house full of little bitty kids, grade school, you know, and that took up a lot of my time. If you have little kids, you know how that takes up your time. And so making these videos was just not on my radar at that time. And then there was a little period where I was like, hey, I'm feeling pretty good. It was sometime in the summer, like about May or June 2025. I was like, hey, this isn't quite so bad. I think I can make it through this. And then the 6 month part hit, 6 month time hit. So what would that be? February, March, April, May, June, July, August. It was about July and August hit, and it was just as bad as it was when he first died. I was angry and I was sad and I was crying and I was just all of the things. Um, and I thought, well, I should be getting better, not worse, right? But grief is not a straight line, it's up and down and around and backwards, forwards, sideways. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. It took a while. But now here we are. It's been more than a year. This is the very end of February when I'm making this video. He died February 11th, and this is February 27th. So it's been a little over a year now. And I won't say I'm back to normal. I won't say that I'm happy, even. There seems to be like this little cloud over me that just kind of mutes everything. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm happy, but I'm not as happy as I was before he died. But it is a little better. It used to feel like there was a blanket on me just suffocating me and, I couldn't even breathe. And so that's gotten better, but I don't know if I'll ever be back to as happy as I was before he died because a huge part of me's missing, it's just a huge part of my heart was taken out. But I will say, and I'm not telling anybody this is what you should do. I'm just going to tell you what worked for me during this whole grief process and having someone I loved very dearly taken from me. I was angry at times, but I was never angry at God. I was just angry. You ever just get irritable and you're just irritable. You don't really know why. That was me. I got irritable some days. But when he was sick and battling, and then after he died, I had a mantra that I used just a lot. I would tell myself dozens of times throughout the day, I trust you, Lord. I trust you, Lord. Teach me how to trust you. Because God had taken somebody that I loved very, very much. And I would oftentimes follow that with, you know the big picture, Lord, I don't. God knows the big picture, I don't. All I can do is trust that he knows what he's doing, that he has my best interest at heart along with everybody else's, and that he knows the exact best time for us to be taken home. And that's what it is. I don't view Jake as being dead. I'm sure there's plenty of people who will say I'm in denial. I'm not in denial. I think the world's topsy-turvy, and what most of the world thinks is not right. We've gotten upside down somehow in our thinking, but that's a whole other can of worms. But I don't think of him as being dead. I rarely talk about him in the past tense. He's just not here. He went to another place. He's in heaven. He's at complete peace and not in pain. Cancer's an ugly disease that had spread into his bones and his bone marrow and his lungs and who knows where else. And it's just a devastating disease to take a 35-year-old man and reduce him to just skin and bones and, can hardly walk on his own. And it's devastating what it can do to you in a 3-month period. And so I was mad, but I wasn't mad at God, and I trusted him. And it just so happened that during the process when he was still with us, I went to Mass one day, and the homily was about, do you remember that story in the Bible? I should have looked it up. Don't ask me where it is. The woman with the coins, and she gave her last coin to the church. She gave everything to the church. She didn't have anything else left. She completely trusted in God, completely trusted he was going to take care of her. Now, I'm not suggesting people give up all their money. I mean, that story was just a parable. It wasn't true. But my treasure, my most valued treasures are my kids. And I would I would say for myself, I probably turned my kids into an idol. They were my everything when they were little. They were my whole life when they were young. My waking, my going to sleep, my every moment was spent thinking about them and taking care of them and loving them. And I probably turned them into an idol. I probably put them above God. But even as adults, I still just love them so much it can hurt sometimes. And they are my biggest treasure. And I had to say with one of those treasures, okay, God, if it's your will, you can have him. You can take him, and I will trust you that I'll be okay and our family will be okay and that you know what you're doing. And that was not an easy thing to do. That was an ugly cry kind of thing to do. But that's how I got through it. That's how I got to where I am right now, a little over a year later, where I can talk about him and not burst into tears. I trust God. I think a lot of times when people suffer just unimaginable pain and loss, they're either going to get closer to God or they're going to get further away. And I chose to get closer to him. I choose to believe in him. I believe in God. I believe there is a God. And if you believe there is a God, well, then you've got to trust that he knows what he's doing. He created the whole universe, with just a word. So I've got to trust that he knows more than Molly does, and he knows what he's doing. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. That doesn't mean that there's times you can't breathe because the pain is so bad. That doesn't mean that you like it and you agree with it. I don't like it. I wish he was still here. His kids don't like it. His wife doesn't like it. But we have to trust God that he knows what he's doing. And so that's what I'm doing. That's where I've been this last several months, last over a year. I've been trying to learn how to live in a world without my son in it. And that takes some time. That's not an easy thing to do. But through the process, I have grown even closer to God. I do completely trust him. I can't say that. I don't know if I'll ever completely trust him, but I'm trying to. I'm trying to give my whole life to him. And that's all we can do. We try. We get up in the morning. We say we're going to try. We fall down about a bazillion times. We get back up. We say we're sorry and we keep going. Next week, when we come back, we are actually going to jump back into the Bible here. I don't remember where we were. I have to look it up. I think we were talking about Moses, weren't we? And the Exodus. I'm pretty sure that's where we were. I'll look it up to be sure. But if you're coming back and watching these videos again, I thank you so much. I really do care about all of you, and I pray for all of you. And if anyone out there is suffering from cancer, or a loved one is suffering from cancer, or any disease, any illness, any injury, I pray for you. And I don't say that lightly. I truly, truly do pray for you that God will wrap you in his arms and you'll feel his love and his mercy and his tenderness and his comfort, and that you can find a little bit of peace in that tornado that's going all around you. Well, thanks for coming back. For those of you who came back, if you're new, hey, what an episode to start out in, huh? I wish you all a very blessed day. And I do pray that God will give you much peace and wisdom and comfort. Bye-bye, everyone.